So hello and welcome to the train room. Here again with a layout update, and yes, probably you have all seen my our Jubilee video. It was a huge hit with 120,000 views so far, which is the most views I got in the shortest amount of time. So it was really great, and actually the YouTube commercials paid for 2 months of the rent. So that was really great for us. For the new people here, we also got over 1,000 new subscribers. We have actually a deal going on. If you haven't heard it, it's if we reach 10,000 subscribers, we will give out a locomotive. And now we have an even crazier joke. If we reach 1 million, we are going to quit our jobs and build a model railroad full time. Yeah, so if you want that happening, we need a lot more subscribers. So, and this is the layout update of the months of May, June, July. So the first thing we decided to do is to finish the mountain on this side of the layout, as it's not much more to do. And so first we had to finish the road of in the tunnel. So Sven Magnus found some very thin masking tape and he made the line. And then we had quite a long discussion on the color of the middle line. It should be yellow like in Norway or white like in Switzerland. So, and then I'm finishing installing the outhouse toilet with the opening door, so it's only manually controlled with a button right there, so for the viewers. So, and then we decided that we are going to do a yellow line, or basically Sven Magnus decided, because I don't know how to do that and I let him handle this kind of tasks. This is also where Sven Magnus met his enemy, the little single there, and he destroyed it a couple of times, so I have to always glue it back together. So yeah, it felt really clumsy. And then I installed a third rail on the industrial area, because it's going to be put into asphalt all the time in the street. So we still have to figure out how to do that, but we have quite a good idea, which you will see probably in the layout update of October or November. So, and then he finally got his EL14 in the old style, and yes, he used the tutorial video I made how to modify it to AC. So it took much less time than the time I did it. One thing which bothered us was these poles which were holding the layout, so we used that special saw to get rid of the top. As you see, it looks much nicer. So, and then we're going to put some pictures on the back. I think that's the way to go. And here how I make the third rail, it's a N rail profile. I basically grind it so it doesn't go slightly up. And then it's glued using Bondic UV glue, which is quite easy. You just have to use some sandpaper on the tiles, and then it will just hold very well. So, and also there is a cable under the profile in the middle, and you see the locomotive works fine, and then this is the one locomotive which runs the worst. It's also one of the oldest which I have since I'm 9. And Sven Magnus also made some asphalt for the place yard for in front of the cable car. And then I installed some LEDs in some cars to put in the tunnel. Yeah, and then we made some holes and put it in. Obviously this had to be done before we make the mountain, since we cannot access it anymore afterwards. The cars were some cheap one I had bought on some model railroad fair. I think it was for 100, I think it was a huge pack for a couple of 100 kroners. Yeah, and took a while until I got all the third rail running. So yes, and then the next thing was the safety inspector came in the train room and said that this corner, which had been hanging there for the last 3 years, is dangerous and need to be removed because it was exactly in her face. So that's what we did, and it got approved that it has been fixed. So and now it was time to construct the mountain, and we use our traditional technique of the fence grid and then the paper and then the plaster. Yes, and while doing that, the little signal there got destroyed a couple of more times. It's basically the little sign on the top which gets removed. I think I had glued it back already 10 times. So, and then we wanted to have some background in the tunnel to make it finish. And the way I did that, I was driving near Bergen, and then my sister was on visit. So the trick was I had to run on the other side of the road so we get it in the middle. Luckily it was Ascension Day and nobody was driving, so we got a long tunnel completely empty and I could drive this quite dangerous maneuver. Already on the way back we thought we could do it again, but it was way too much traffic to do it again. So when everything was in place, we started to put the grid, and the signal got destroyed a couple of more times. Then we realized we need to put some wall behind, so we had this leftover plate which fitted exactly there. So since nobody really can see it, it doesn't need more processing. And then we fixed the feedback cable to the bridge behind, so it looks like a big pipe. And then it was start to put the paper like usual, and that's the rest of the 2 rolls I bought in Sweden 3 years ago. So now we are out of it, and yeah, it has become very expensive to drive to Sweden, so electricity cost just for this paper. As we ran out, we went to the toilet and found some paper there to finish it. Yeah, so that's why suddenly there is white paper. And then I tried to dry it a little bit because Segmalis was afraid that the running water might damage the road, so I just dried around, and I also destroyed a bit of the tunnel there. So, and then it was time to start to plaster. So first we put the newspaper to protect the tracks below. We had to remove all the trains. They are stored all around the layout to do that. So there will be no plaster on trains. Also here we tried a new procedure how to make the mountains, and we had the problem earlier that the modeling plaster would dry out very quickly. So what we did, we put first the cheaper construction plaster which dries slowly, and then we put the construction plaster, the modeling plaster on top of it, which made that we could actually work on it for a long time, or let's say for nearly a too long time. So we need to optimize on that solution, but that was easier to paint at the end. The easiest way to see if the structure is correct is to actually shine it from the side and see how it looks like. So, and then Sven Magnus wanted to have a wall next to the bridge, so he just scraped some bricks out of the wet plaster and it became actually quite good. And then we put some plaster on the sides there, but we still have to finish it, it's a complete honor. And then we realized that we had put the signals there below the layout while working on, and it was now under the plaster, so we had to dig it out. Unfortunately, it was not too dirty. So, and then it was time to paint. Sven Magnus thinks I am quite talented and seen what kind of color stone should be, so I just started to paint and not thinking too much. And yeah, you just put more and more and more layers until it looks what you want. Obviously, grass will come and bushes also later. On the one of the next tasks was to put panels on the side of the layout to make it look nicer, and Sven Magnus has quite a good idea what he wants to look good. And we also moved the buttons into the panel so it looks a bit nicer. So, and what's upcoming in the next months will be the installation of our self-designed and 3D printed catenary masts. Yes, some people have maybe seen a similar video from Merkin of Sweden, but I designed new mast because I want to have Swiss style, and that it was not available. And I also have a better system to mount it. It's based on the Sommerfeld system, so it's compatible. And then obviously we have to paint the mast. So here we primed it, and then we put a coating of aluminium color. And then the problem was we have to paint the latent isolator, and that's quite time consuming. So I made 10 masts and we immediately mounted everything, so I'm going to make 50 more soon. We will see in the next video. And there will be a tutorial video how to use these masts, and you will be able to download this. So that's for today. Don't forget that we have a Facebook page where we post everything at once, and we also have our Discord server, and there is also a Patreon page that nobody uses yet. So that's for today. See you soon again in the train room.